Okay, Stephen Key here, and guess what? I have another very special guest, all the way from the East Coast. Brian, where do you live?
Yeah, Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, gee, Boston. Okay, and this is a little bit different because Brian's going to share with us what he does because he does something a little unique. He's kind of the first guest we've had that's going to show you how to use social media marketing to sell your product or your brand. Is that what we're going to talk about today?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. I mean, that's exactly what we do, and our niche is really working with the solo entrepreneur, small team, and inventors. And helping them launch their products. So I think that'd be pretty appropriate.
Okay, so tell me, and we have a lot of people that are listening that want a license, but we have a lot of listeners that want to venture. They want to come up with that idea and sell it themselves. Is it a good time to do that?
I think so. I think now more than ever. I mean, one thing we've seen. So our forte at Posted Social is really advertising on social media, right? Both we do organic content and things that you can do for free on social, which every inventor, startup, every business should be doing. But then there's the advertising piece. And over the last couple months, what we've seen is no drop off in e-commerce spending, right? So if you have we launched a new brand last month. We spent $500 on advertising. It returned $3,000 in sales. They were thrilled about it, and this is something that had never sold before.
Okay.
So we're not seeing any decrease. And I think now more than ever is, hey, you're sitting home, like prepare yourself to launch a new product. This is the best time, I think.
Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. So, Brian, I can target grandma that's baking chocolate chip cookies in Kansas City. Is that true on Facebook? If I have a product that's great for grandma, it's a cooking utensil, she's making chocolate chip cookies, I can target her and
Yeah,
other
absolutely.
grandmas?
So, one thing that I'm sure everybody was aware of over the last couple of years is people are up in arms about, the data that Facebook steals from us, that we all opt into that, terms of service, and then they're taking everything that we do. And, the perfect example is if we're talking about a product right now, if we start talking about something on the shelf behind you, over the next couple of days, we're probably going to see an ad for something very similar, right? So we can tap into the insights that Facebook provides, Instagram provides, LinkedIn provides, and we can target, down to the zip code, a specific person based on their age, sex, demographics, location, geography, their interests. So if you say, I want to target, grandmas in New Jersey who like Italian cooking, we can hit that person with an ad, and it's a really great way to find your audience. And, real quick, I'll give you a quick example of something that we learned is we launched a product called Playbook Products. They make slate coasters and they etch famous sports plays in them. So, Jordan shot in the 93 championship, or Derek Jeter's flip play, whatever it might be. And we said, okay, this is a perfect gift for guys, right? So we launched an advertising campaign, and in the first 2 weeks, we realized not one guy bought one of these products. It's all women buying for, husbands, fathers, sons, cousins, uncles, all that. So we pulled back our metrics and figured out, hey, man, your target market is not what you think it is. It's a little different than that. And we started manipulating the advertisements towards those people,
Okay. So do I have to spend a lot of money? Or can I test it? How do I do this? Let's say I'm not sure and I've got a short budget. Can I do that still? Is it going to return?
Yeah, the nice thing about, spending, like if you say, okay, I want to test a billboard, right? You have to spend $50,000 on that billboard, and no matter how much return you get from it, you've spent that money. Okay. On social, you can set a small budget. So when we start a new customer, we test, dozens of ads for $5, $10 a day and see which ones start to perform, right?
Okay.
So you can run ads inexpensively. I wouldn't recommend running an ad for a day at $10 and then throwing your hands up and saying, this doesn't work. It's like you can't go to the gym and run a mile on the treadmill and then enter the New York Marathon. It takes time.
What's a fair budget then? And what's the length of time in a fair budget? If I were to hire you, what would that be?
Yeah, so if we start, our smallest budget we start with is about $500. Because that gives us enough room to be a little dangerous where we can try multiple things.
Right.
But we can also spread that out and not, spend all 500 up front where we're learning, testing, manipulating the demographics, the interest, the copy on the ads. We test for $500. We can test thousands of combinations of, an image, a video, copy, byline, call to action, descriptions, all these different combinations. And then we pull out the stuff that works and say, well, this ad produces a 4 times ROI,
Okay, let's say, all right, I love this. Let's say I'm an inventor and I don't want to venture, but I want a license. So I'm going to switch it a little bit, but I want to test it.
Yeah.
To see if there's any interest. Can I do that the same thing too? To say, put a fake ad up, maybe take money, but maybe give it back. But can I do a little test just to see if anybody wants it?
Yeah. So, one thing you could do is just run, rather than running ads with the goal being to sell an item, you can run ads with different objectives, they're called, right? So one objective might just be traffic or link clicks. So you test different ads with different target audiences, and you figure out, well, audience A, clicked this link 1,000 times and went to my website, but audience B only went there 50 times, right? And now that data that you pull only helps when you pitch somebody to license your product. You can say, look, here's my demographic. And then they know, well, that's the perfect person for HSN, right? It's a 58-year-old woman, empty nester with disposable income. This product's perfect for HSN or QVC. Or this is perfect for Best Buy because of XYZ demographics. So it only helps the more data you have.
So I can actually use this to show market demand if I'm smart.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It used to be, I think a couple years ago, it was the Kickstarter, right? Hey, we launched a Kickstarter and look how many backers we got. The idea of going viral is a little by the wayside now. You have to pay to fund your Kickstarter now, essentially. You don't just hit the jackpot anymore. So this is kind of replacing that in the sense of I can gather all that information from these people, but I don't have to spend a fortune to do it. It's a great tool.
This is interesting because I think this audience is going to really love this. So let's say I don't even have a prototype. Could I do a 3D computer-generated graphic and put it up there that looks pretty real and get some interest that way too?
Absolutely. We do before a product launches, we'll do some teaser videos and things where you can't actually buy it. You can't sign up for the service. All we're doing is trying to figure out who is it that's interested in this item, right? So we had an inventor a couple months ago just put up, an easy video demo of a prototype that he made in his house. And it had, 60, 70,000 views of the video. And we figured out, okay, this is the demographic that's viewing it. And now if we were to run a paid ad towards it, here's who we would go after.
Okay.
So, you can attract people in any way. You don't have to be super buttoned up and ready to go in order to start on social media.
Well, this is interesting. Tell me, what's really confusing about the Facebook ads,
Sure.
I think now, not today, but maybe a couple years ago, I just didn't see a lot of traction. It seemed like, I don't know if it was more brand building, but people are actually purchasing now. I mean, because I know a lot of the DRTV guys are using this as a way. So what has changed from a couple of years to now, and why are people purchasing instead of just...
Yeah. So I started my first agency in 2008 from my college dorm room. My aunt had a boutique PR firm in New York, and she was 55 at the time, and she had a client come to her and say, hey, we should be on this Facebook thing. And she didn't even have one. So she said, hey, I'll give you $500 a month and you can post pertinent information about this client on their Facebook page.
Okay.
Right. And I said, that's awesome. That's great. So that turned into, X amount of clients. We sold our business in 2014 and started a new one. But back then it was about how many followers do you have, right? That was the currency, is how many people can you reach? Well, we run ads now for people with 0 followers and reach hundreds of thousands of eyeballs, all from paid advertisements, right?
Okay.
So what's changed is people are okay with seeing an ad and buying directly off it on their phone, on their computer. You're comfortable with it now. Everybody gets things delivered to their house.
Okay.
And that brand building, when you say there's little return in it, the downfall of advertising on social is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. They make it so easy for you to spend money that if you don't know what you're doing, you wake up and you go, I just spent $300 to promote this post, and my mom was the only one who saw it. So you gotta, just like anything else. I don't know how to do my taxes. I pay somebody to do my taxes. So I don't go to jail. We do this for people so they don't waste their money.
Okay. What about the boosting? Does that work? Does boosting work?
We're not huge fans of it. Facebook, here's a little tip. Whenever Facebook rolls out something new, right? When they say, okay, you can now boost a post, or when they say you can have a new way of distributing your ads through this collection item, whenever they roll something new out, it's worth trying it because they want it to work, right? So they're going to make sure that their algorithm in the background helps out whatever they're trying to launch. We did boosted posts. It works pretty well. I would not do it unless you have a big budget. Okay. If you have a small budget, you should go to the ads campaign manager and launch an ad from there. There's a zillion resources on YouTube on how to do this. We do, a free audit for anybody on their social media. I'll look at everything you've been doing and saying, hey, this is what we think you should be doing. This is what we would do if we were to work with you. Here's some tips. There's an example of one on my LinkedIn right now, I think, that we posted yesterday or this morning if somebody wants to see it.
So it's different between Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I mean, you have to have a different strategy for all those different social media platforms.
Right. I mean, different strategy, not only with how you're, conveying your message, but who you're going after. On like we talk about targeting the grandma in New Jersey who likes, marinara sauce. We're not going to do that on LinkedIn because she's not there, right? But she's on Facebook. And on LinkedIn, if you're a B2B play, it's a great way to make those connections from a B2B aspect. If you're recruiting people, if you're selling a product pertinent to business, LinkedIn is an excellent thing because you can target specific companies, you could target specific job titles, you could target specific company sizes. So we have some clients we work with that are B2B, and they're selling software to 50 person and under companies, and we can find that for them.
Well, it's really odd. Sometimes I'll see a sponsored. Is it on LinkedIn? It says sponsored. Mm-hmm. But they're advertising to me, but they don't even know what I do. So it's kind of a mixed match. Why do they do that? I mean,
so it's two things. Most of the things you see that are sponsored, you'll notice are pretty relevant to you. When you see something that's not, it's an example of poor targeting. So that means whoever's running the ad is finding the wrong audience, or somehow you're linked to an interest that you don't really know about, through friends of friends, or so it really comes into the back end. But if you're seeing ads you're not supposed to, somebody's not doing their job right.
Okay. So let's do this. Two more questions.
Sure.
And we're going to talk at the very end kind of about your business model and how that all works. But before we get there, what tips and advice would you give anybody that's thinking about it?
So I'd say start organic, right? And there's two forms of social media that you hear. There's organic and there's paid. Paid is the advertising stuff we're talking about, where you can target that specific person. Organic is free. You can pop up a business page for your Facebook, for your Instagram, and just start posting about what you're doing. The more you do that, the more eyeballs you're going to get, the more feedback you're going to get. It's a great way to almost focus group your idea if you're an inventor. Take it to Facebook and see what people have to say. But the one hurdle that everybody faces in starting is, I don't know what to post, But you can talk about any product that you've ever been involved with for 10 hours straight, right? That's what you post. You can break that off into different chunks. If you have a website, you probably have a year's worth of posts just from pulling one or two lines and one or two pictures off that site a day. It doesn't have to be a Steven Spielberg movie that you post on. Our best ad for a product we're running right now is a cell phone video of a guy taking an ice pack out of a fridge and putting it on his elbow. You don't see anybody's face. You don't see anything. It's a 4-second long clip, and we're doing 2 cents a click to their website and to Amazon with it right now. It's called the Hurt Skirt. I got to give it a little plug. I love the item. So, and it's just an example of you don't have to do this as professionally as you think you do. Just get out there and start doing it.
All right. So how do you here's the big question everybody wants to know. Yep. How do you get paid in all this? How's that?
Yeah. Okay. So we get paid on a monthly flat fee. Okay. So the reason I do that is a lot of digital agencies will take a portion of your advertising budget. And if you think about that logically, well, the more you spend on ads, the more money I make, right? I don't think I should ever encourage you to spend more money unless it's in your best interest as the customer. So we work on a flat monthly fee, depending on, what type of campaign we're going, and we run specials for startups. We run specials for inventors, to make it, feasible. And we work on that flat fee. So if you spend $1 on ads, or if you spend $1 million on ads, all of our clients are paying us a flat monthly fee. That does not scale. The reason being, I want to figure out what's the lowest money we can spend to make you the most, and then we increase that, right? And we scale that. So if I say, Steven, we got to spend $1,000 next month on ads, and you say, why? I'm going to say, well, it's going to return us $7,000. You, not me, right? We still get our fee. So that's our model.
So you're really trying to find that little formula for people, right?
Yeah, we've tried things like working on commissions and all that, and I got burned a couple times, to be honest with you. We sent in some traffic, and the companies couldn't fulfill their end of the bargain. So I said, you know what, this flat fee, it works for everybody. My goal is to have people around for the long run, not 3-month hit and runs.
Got it. Thank you.
This
is really interesting.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we're going to put information down below if you want to contact Brian, if you're interested to learn more. What does it cost? How do I get out there, and how do I grab those dollars? I mean, they're out there, and people are at home. So
absolutely,
it's on fire.
Me too.
So you guys, all the information is going to be down below. Contact Brian if you need him. Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.